College tuition has gone up 234% over the last 20 some odd years, compared to 63% for the overall price level. And the result of that is that 71%
I want to pull this chart up. We have this. Millennials mired in debt. It's massive.
Andrea Ledesma has a 4-year college degree, but works 30 hours or so a week making pizzas.
You think you're going to graduate and all these things are just going to happen for you, and when nothing happens, you're like, well, what was this for? I just spent all this time and money, so much money.
Marriage is becoming extinct, and our generation is leading the way.
Groups like Josh Craddock's Personhood USA and Jennifer Murph's Millennials for Marriage warn a large percentage may never tie the knot. Why? They've seen her live through the trauma caused by divorce.
They're concerned and hesitant to jump into a relationship because they don't want to see that sort of pain and heartbreak in their own lives.
25% of millennials do not get married at all. They don't want to get married. They said, this is not for me.
One millennial is just fed up with her generation, and she is calling them out in this video that has now gone viral.
As a millennial, I took it upon myself to try to evaluate what's so wrong with our generation and why they're so mad at us. And then I pretty much realized that we're just existing. We're not really contributing anything to society.
We have a new problem, a unique problem. And I don't mean we as in North Hills specifically. I mean we as American culture. We have a generation of young adults that feels categorically despised by the 3 generations of older adults. You know who I'm talking about, the millennials. We've had younger generations that have felt misunderstood or even been labeled rebellious, but never have we had a majority of young adults who feel that their generation is hated. Recently, I did a Google search on why do people hate millennials so much? And in half a second, I got over 1 million articles. The most interesting part of this phenomenon is that many of the stereotypes are just that, stereotypes. Someone cries on a college campus and all of a sudden, that incident characterizes every 20-something in the country, when many of those young adults are just as bothered by the report as everyone else. That can't be a good thing. Millennials are now 20 to 36-year-olds, and there are a lot of them, 80 million to be exact. In less than 3 years, they'll comprise more than 50% of the workforce. And even though research shows they are very different in some ways, it also confirms that they have a lot in common with their older counterparts. It's unfortunate that much of the time, they're publicly despised and alienated by the Gen Xers, the baby boomers, and the traditionalist generation. And it's even more unfortunate if they feel like the older generations in the church would rather not have them around. That is especially significant when you realize millennials are leaving the church in unprecedented numbers. That's why we've chosen to dive right into this controversy with our Summer Wisdom Fest series. We want to learn what it means to welcome millennials into our church, into our lives, and into our hearts. And we want to help millennials learn what it means to welcome Jesus. We're going to move beyond the anecdotal stories. In fact, we aren't even going to spend any time on those, and focus on some neutral facts presented by the Gallup organization's comprehensive study, and focus on some helpful and challenging scripture. Wisdom Fest 2017 is Millennials Welcome. Admiral William McRaven is the commander who led the Navy SEALs to their victory over Osama bin Laden. He's now retired from the military and serves as the chancellor at the University of Texas. In a recent interview, the Admiral said, "Millennials take a tough beating, but I gotta tell you, the ones I worked with in the military and now at the university are some of the finest young men and women I have ever spent time with. Now, they've got tattoos and they listen to music I don't understand, but I tell you, they'll make you proud. They will, in fact, be this century's greatest generation." They take a lot of criticism, but we need to back off and take a different look at this millennial generation. And that is exactly what Wisdom Fest 2017 is all about. You'll hear Gallup's interesting data, you'll hear Jesus's super relevant Sermon on the Mount, and you'll hear from millennials. And we'll be encouraging every one of you non-millennials to take some young adults to lunch or coffee several times throughout the summer and get to know their real stories. We're going to be building generational bridges of mutual respect with Jesus at the center. It's going to be life-changing for us as a church. Don't miss it.